Welcome to the Simply Vegan podcast with me, Holly Johnson, and my co-host, Gabriella Clark. Each week we discuss the latest vegan news, taste test new products, and chat to some of the leading names in veganism. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. We are really pleased to have you here, our lovely listeners. As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Simply Vegan Podcast and at Vegan Food and Living, and leave us a review on your chosen platform. How are you, Gabriella?
I'm really well, thanks, Holly. How are you?
I'm good. The sun is shining. We're one step closer to a little bit of freedom out of lockdown. So I'm feeling pretty good today.
Yeah, those two big factors make for a very positive week. So yeah, feeling good.
They really do. Well, let's start with a couple of news stories. First of all, Quorn are launching vegan scampi, which is quite exciting. Were you a scampi fan back in the day?
Yeah, in general, big kind of fish eater, fish lover, and have yet to find a good alternative since being vegan. So would be really interested to try this actually.
Yeah, so we'll get in touch with Quorn and get them to send us some so we can share with our listeners whether it's any good or not.
Yeah.
Another piece of news is that Chris Packham, the wildlife presenter, is fronting a campaign to raise the standards of welfare for chickens across the UK. So he's kind of calling on British supermarkets to stop, in inverted commas, selling suffering. And he's calling on them to commit to a better chicken commitment, BCC, which was created by experts at animal protection organisations. Marks and Spencers and Waitrose have signed up to this, which is great news, but it would be really good if we could get the other supermarkets on board. Over 1 billion chickens are killed in the UK every year. And obviously there's the threat of, the bird flu pandemic. So it's something to really get on board with. If you head over to Chris Packham's Facebook page, then you'll find the petition link there. And make sure you sign that and share it. So that leads us on nicely to something that we taste tested this week, which is vegan chicken. And it's by a brand called Heura. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled Heura. And they are a Barcelona-based brand, one of my favourite cities in the world. Have you been?
I have, also one of my favourite cities. Amazing place.
I can't wait to travel again one day. Actor Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek on Netflix. I don't know if you've watched this, Gabriella.
I have started it, haven't finished it at all, but I have started it after being recommended by a lot of people. How about you?
Exactly the same. Yeah, I've watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes. We're not huge TV fans, are we, me and you? We're always a bit behind the
time.
Yeah. So everyone's like, oh yeah, it was brilliant. And I'm like, oh, okay, I must watch it. And it's kind of becomes a bit of a like a chore. I've got to watch it. Everyone else is watching it. But it's really funny. And Dan Levy is the son in it. He's really good. And he has tweeted that a Heura sandwich was the best vegan chicken sandwich he's ever tasted.
Wow.
So obviously we thought on the Simply Vegan podcast, we need to get ahead of the game and, check whether Dan's right or not.
Exactly.
So they do chunks and strips in a couple of different flavors, original, Mediterranean, and I think a taco flavor. What did you think of them?
Oh, I can confirm that there were similar claims being flung about in this household of best vegan chicken, best chicken replacement I've had. So similar to Dan. Really impressed over here. For me, we tried the Mediterranean chunks and the strips, and just the way they crisped up in the pan. So from how I remember eating chicken, when it's like a proper roast chicken, you have that delicious crispy skin and then the more tender meat underneath. It was really reminiscent of that, which was so impressive. I did find the chunks a little bit more on the chewier side and that the strips were easier to eat. We had those in a wrap, but very, very confidently would purchase those time and time and again.
I was really impressed as well. And like you, I did prefer the strips. I don't know if it's because the chunks, maybe they were a little bit chewier or a bit more like they could be actual real chicken. I don't know.
Yeah.
My husband actually preferred the chunks, and obviously he's, still eating meat occasionally. So for me, strips were more palatable, I think, as a vegan. But yeah, absolutely brilliant texture. Definitely the best vegan chicken I've had. We had some with a roast dinner with some gravy, which was lovely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and also in a roll with some like vegan slaw and vegan mayo, Hellman's vegan mayo, and some salad. So that was really good. And what I really like about this company is, there's so few ingredients in this product. You've got soya protein, water, you've got no additives or preservatives. You've got, I think, added B12, but there's literally maybe 4 or 5 ingredients.
I think that's brilliant because, often you are looking for a substitute that is good, that fills maybe a gap for an easy lunch, but always eating them with a little bit of guilt that you're eating something quite processed and with a big, huge, long list of ingredients on the back. So to be able to know you've got this really quick, easy, delicious lunch or dinner, and they took 5 minutes, I think, to fry off in some oil in the pan. And you're also not compromising on a whole list of scary ingredients is brilliant. I would happily buy those time and time again.
Yeah, they're $3.99 for 160 grams from Planet Organic and the Vegan Kind supermarket. But obviously, the more we buy, the more they will be getting into, our regular supermarket. So go and order a few packs of those. Just a quick note, actually, is I love the sustainability of the packaging. Did you notice that?
Definitely never ever goes unnoticed here, not just in terms of the primary packaging, which you can throw in the recycling, but how it was shipped to us as well in totally recyclable keep cool bags. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, yeah, that's a new must-have on our shopping lists. Another, I guess you could call it a meat replacement, is Miso Tasty Tofu, which we tried this week. So these are new craft tofus that they've launched, and they're £10 for a pack of 4, available at the moment from the Miso Tasty website. So roughly £2.50 each for 300 grams. So it's slightly pricier than some of the other tofus that you'll find in supermarkets. Again, they're soon to be launched in the mainstream supermarkets. What did you think of these?
Yeah, I thought, it was really great that we had options. They had both firm and soft tofu, which meant that we were able to be selective with which types of tofu we chose to cook with. So we did kind of ramen with the more firm one because it didn't lose its texture and its shape. And then we did more things like tofu scramble with the softer tofu. For me, tofu is a bit much of a muchness. It's kind of all the same until you cook it, really, and flavor it. So I think having it in supermarkets, I'd be tempted to buy it, but I'm not sure I'd necessarily go out of my way to order it online. It wasn't so different from the other tofus that I tried. But what I did really like was A, the different textures, and B, the marinades that they supplied as well, because we all know tofu really doesn't taste of anything at all. And so, if you want something easy to add that flavor, it's a nice product to go alongside.
Yeah, they're also available from their website. So the firm one, first of all, I liked. It was had like air bubbles in it, which made it really light and fluffy when we cooked it. Basically roll it in corn flour and some spices beforehand, as we've said before, and then just give it a little fry and a little bit of oil and then stick it in the oven. It goes really, really crispy. So yeah, that was really nice. And the soft one, like you, we did scramble with it, and it did make a really nice creamy scramble. And it didn't require, sometimes you're trying to mash up the hard stuff to make your tofu scramble, and it's a bit of an effort, whereas the softer stuff is better to use.
I think if you were used to having scrambled egg that tends to be a bit creamier and looser than, say, scrambled tofu, having that soft tofu option makes a bit more of a direct substitute because it is creamier and softer. So yeah, overall, nice to have the different options, really.
Yeah. And lastly, we had to eat more chocolate, didn't we?
It's a tough job.
So this is brand new Oat Milk Chocolate from Happi, which is HAPPI. The website is Happi Free From. So it is really new, and it's only available at the website at the moment, but it will be rolling out to supermarkets. It's about £3 a bar and comes in different flavors: Cacao Nib Crunch, salted caramel, orange, and a plain one. It's made with 47% single origin oat milk chocolate. What did you think of it?
Definitely worth the claim of a milk chocolate. So for me, obviously as a vegan, we're used to eating primarily dark chocolate. And this was very reminiscent of a milkier chocolate. It has been, say, 3 years since I've eaten anything like Cadbury's Dairy Milk, but from memory, for me, this was pretty close. And I don't know whether that's because they use the oat milk, and so it does make it a bit creamier and milkier, but we really loved it. I loved how kind of, wasn't too thin, but thinner the bars were, so they were not too heavy, really delicious. And I have to say the Cacao Nib Crunch for me was my favourite by a long mile. Really good.
I thought that might be a bit bitter. When I see cacao, I think, oh, it's going to be bitter, but you can't really taste that, can you? You just get a nice crunch.
No, and especially, I know what you mean, because we use raw cacao nibs on things like porridge and smoothie bowls and overnight oats, and they do have very bitter taste to them. So I was expecting that hint given there on the top of the chocolate bar. Not at all. For me, I really did think it was a close substitute to dairy milk. I'd be interested for someone who has eaten it more recently than me to test it out and see if it is as good a substitute as I think it is. But yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was nice and creamy. I like the orange one. I quite like flavoured chocolate, I think. I don't know. I think I've just grown to prefer that. And I love the company. The packaging is really nice. I'm such a sucker for packaging. If it looks pretty or fun or, whatever. And I think it would make a lovely gift, if you're kind of giving it to someone. And really nice, sustainable packaging. And they kind of have a farm to bar chain with their cacao farmers, which is really nice. So yeah, a lovely brand, and great to have another option when it comes to chocolate. I went to Morrison's the other day and I found vegan Bounty bars and vegan Topics.
Wow.
I know. I was so excited. They're £3 each. So I spent like £6 on 2 chocolate bars. They don't look like Bounty. They're not sort of in the same shape. It's kind of basically like a bar of chocolate, but with chunks of Bounty coconut in. And I am obsessed with coconut. I love it. So that was a real treat. The Topic, I did not even get to try because my daughter ate the whole thing before I got to sample it.
You need a better hiding place.
Yes. So yeah, I'll have to go back to Morrison's and grab another bar of that.
Were they Morrison's own then, rather than a separate brand?
Nope, they're the real deal. So yeah, they're new. They were in the free from section, I think, in Morrison's, and yeah, I'll have to look into where else stocks them. So yeah, lots of nice chocolate options. We've got Easter coming up. Do you know, are you going to be buying Easter eggs for people? Which ones are you going to go for?
I have to say, I did spot on the Happi Free From website that they were doing Easter eggs. So I might be tempted to purchase one of those because I really, really did like the chocolate. I was also a really big fan of the buttermilk Easter eggs that we tried a couple of episodes ago. Really affordable as well. So I think I might be putting in an order for those. How about you?
Yeah, the chocolate orange one from Buttermilk is my favourite so far. So I'm gonna get a couple of those, I think. But I'll have a look at the Happi ones as well, because I didn't know they did them. Well, fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope that you enjoy our news and reviews each week. We'd love to hear from you, though. Like I said, please do leave us your own review. Let us know what you want to hear us talking about. Next up, I speak to Olivier Mankondo, who is a health and wellness coach. He lost an awful lot of weight after going plant-based vegan overnight, and since dedicated his life to basically researching everything there is to know about vegan nutrition. So yeah, if you're looking to perhaps lose a few pounds as we come out of lockdown, then it's definitely worth a listen. So I'm joined by Olivier Mankondo, a speaker, author, and wellness coach. Hi, Olivier. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you, Oli. Nice for you to have me on your show.
Yeah, it's great to chat to you today. So tell us what life was like for you before you discovered plant-based eating.
Yeah, so basically, before that, I was eating animal product, dairy product, processed food, fast food, junk food, anything you can imagine. I was eating that. And basically at that time, my health was not very good at all. I was suffering from high blood pressure. I was suffering from headaches. I had massive headache every day or every other day. And in fact, I had to have some paracetamol with me everywhere I was because the headache was so bad.
Wow.
I had dandruffs as well, chest pain, back pain, abscesses, and my weight was 100 kilos or 15 and a half stone. And basically, I was not well. And once or twice a year, I had to have the flu. I was very tired in the morning. I had no energy. And basically, I had to drag myself out of the bed to go to work. And on my days off, I was sleeping until 1 in the afternoon because I was so tired. So my life was not very good before that. Always tired. Being not well, high blood pressure, all this stuff. So it was not good.
So at what point did you kind of decide enough is enough, and what led you to change your diet?
So basically there was not something like that I decided I wanted to do that. No, it's just one day I was just watching a program on the YouTube. It was an Indian yogi. His name is Sadhguru. And he was talking about eating consciously. And in his that program, he was talking about how animal products were really bad for the human mechanism. And from that day, I decided that I would stop eating meat. And it was on a certain Wednesday. And I told to my wife that on Thursday, when I come back to work, just cook me my last meal of meat. And it's been 5 years on, I've not had meat. So basically, I went cold turkey straight away. I didn't even know that I would have some health benefit. I didn't know anything about that. It's just when I watched that program, I decided that I was going to stop eating animal product and all that.
Wow, that's incredible. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, the more people I speak to, it can literally just be one documentary or a book or even just a comment or seeing something on TV, and it can just change your whole life.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So so you gave up fish and dairy and everything then at the same time?
Yes, everything at the same time. So dairy milk, dairy product, fish, chicken, everything I stopped straight away.
Right. And what changes did you notice then?
Yes, there was a lot of changes. For example, within 9 months, I lost 35 kilos or 5.5 stone.
Wow.
My body mass index went from 32 to 22. And for example, my blood sugar was at 41. I was at 41. And then it's went down to 37, which is very good. And all the chronic diseases that I've had are completely gone. So I've got no headaches anymore. I've got no joint pain. The chest pain are gone. The abscesses, everything are gone. And especially the high blood pressure that I've had. I remember 4 months into me changing, I went to my GP. And when he did the test, the blood pressure was gone. And he was really, really surprised. And it was gone with no medication. Because when I was first diagnosed, the doctor told me that I would go on medication for the rest of my life. But obviously, at that time, I didn't know everything. But I just asked him for how long I would take the medication for. And he told me for the rest of my life. And I said, no, I can't take it. I said, maybe I will try to do some sports, and maybe the blood pressure was gone. And I remember I joined a karate club, but the blood pressure was still there. But it's just when I stopped eating all the meat product, the dairy product, that my blood pressure was gone. And now when I wake up, I'm full of energy. I don't have to sleep much. And I've slowed down my aging process as well. So a lot of people, when they see me, they think that I'm in my late 20s, but I'm actually 51.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm not sure that's actually happened to me, but maybe I'm doing something wrong.
And for example, if you look at my weight when I was 25, my weight was 11.5 stone. And now that I'm 51, it's 10 stone. It's not a lot of people who go like that yet. No. So lots of benefit from switching to a plant-based diet.
That's amazing. So did you give up, things like crisps and chips and bread or anything like that as well? Or was it just giving up the meat and fish and dairy and eggs and things?
Yeah. So, for example, for the crisp, I tend not to eat that unless it's vegan. But this is the stuff that I take on occasion. It's not that for example, if I have to look for this month, we are the 22nd. I've not had any crisp, for example. So it's just on occasion that I do that. For example, the bread, I don't eat much bread, but if I have to eat bread, it's the brown bread.
Yeah.
The brown bread, or for example, if it's the rice, I'm not going to eat the white rice. I'll eat brown rice. Yeah. Or if I have to take some sugar, it's going to be brown sugar, because all this white stuff have been heavily processed. Mm-hmm. And to give them the white appearance, they are polished. And in the process, they lose all the vitamin, the nutrient, the fibers, and they become very toxic to the human mechanism. So most of the time, I try to eat whole food instead of processed food, even if they are vegan.
At what point did you train as a weight loss and wellness coach then?
I started in 2018, so 2 years after I transitioned to a plant-based nutrition. Basically, what happened is because I've noticed that 70% of the world population is sick. And when I say 70%, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll find all these people in hospitals. It means that they are on some sort of prescribed medication by the doctors. And when you take a look at the people who auto-medicate, this number is even higher, and it can reach even 95%. Mm-hmm. And when you look as well, you will see that 1.9 billion adults are overweight. And when people are overweight, it goes to, it can lead to diseases like heart problems, diabetes, high blood pressure. And the fact that I lost 5.5 stone in 9 months, and for the last 5 years, I've not been sick. And at that time, it was 2 years. And I decided to pass this knowledge down to other people because I wanted them to have the ideal weight and to see that it was possible to lead a disease-free life. And that's why I designed my program. It's an 8-step weight loss and wellness program that people, if they go on my website, which is oliviermankondo.com, they can see all this stuff. And over there, I teach people how to lose weight. And it's done step by step because I recognize that not most people, they cannot just go cold turkey like me. And that's why I decided to do, there's an 8 process, 8 stages where they go step by step. And the fact as well is that when you go cold turkey, you can have lots of detox symptoms. Like, for example, for me, I had a massive headache for 3 days. I started to have lots of abscesses. I was very tired. I had cold sore. And basically, it's, for other people, when they go through this stuff, they will say, no, I can't go through this plant-based nutrition. Certainly, I'm missing all my meat, my protein. That's why I'm having all these detox symptoms.
Yeah.
But it's basically the way that your body is detoxing itself.
Yeah.
And if you want to avoid that, you need to go step by step. And that's why I've designed my program to go step by step. And for example, and it depends on people, because other people, they don't even have that. It's like my wife, she's lost 7 stone, but she didn't have all these detox symptoms. Or my brother, just doing this program, he has lost 5 stone. So to summarize, I train to be a weight loss coach. Is just to pass this knowledge down so people can be in good health and have their ideal weight.
So where did you do the training?
I did that in the academy online.
Yeah, there's some brilliant courses, isn't there, that you can do online now?
Yeah. There are a lot of courses, and I've done lots of research myself as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you literally had no sort of knowledge of nutrition or anything. You've sort of gone full circle.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing. It's like I've told you that I was eating like everybody else. It's just when I watched that program, that I saw that eating meat and all the animal product was bad. And I remember the first week after I studied, I lost 11 pounds, and I was really surprised. And I started to feel a lot of energy, and this prompted me to start doing some research. And that's why I've built up all the knowledge that I've got now.
Yeah, it kind of sets you on a path, doesn't it? And there's no return then.
Yeah, no return at all. Because with all the health benefits, I can't see myself going back eating the way I was eating before.
Do you class yourself as a vegan?
Yes, in the sense that I don't want to eat animal product. I try not to buy. So basically, I still have my leather jacket and stuff like that. But now I've decided not to buy all this thing anymore. But to be like an ethic vegan, to go an activist. I will not class myself as a vegan activist. But things like killing animals or trying to buy stuff which we have been made with animal skin and stuff like that, I've stopped doing all this stuff. So in that sense, yes, I can class myself as a vegan. Yeah.
So a lot of people turn to veganism hoping to lose weight, don't they? But there's a lot of sort of processed products out there, which we're lucky to have, for convenience, but they don't often lend themselves to weight loss. So what kind of foods do you advise your clients to eat when people come to you?
So basically, like you said, I've noticed that a lot of vegans, they like to eat lots of processed food. But what you have to understand is that processed food are food that has been transformed and resembles to nothing in nature. They're essentially the man-made food. And you find them in cartons, in bottles, in cans. And 51% of what we eat as a race is processed food. 42% are animal products, and only 7% are fruit and vegetables. And unfortunately, in those 7%, the majority is potatoes to make French fries. So we eat very, very little of fresh produce. And in all this processed food, you've got things like additive, coloring, flavoring, preservative, which are chemical substances not recognized by the body, and they create havoc. Mm-hmm. And when we eat all this processed food, it's going to make us addicted, obese, and sick. The human body works on microelectricity. We need microelectricity for our body to work in an optimal way. And we can only have microelectricity from stuff like fruit, vegetables, legumes, grain, nuts, and seeds. And why is that? It's because they are live food. And why do I call them live food? It's, for example, if you look at a banana, if you get a green banana, if you leave it there, after a couple of days, it becomes yellow, right? And if it doesn't get eaten after a week or 10 days, then the rotting process starts. So you can see that the banana is living. It was green, yellow, and it starts the rotting process. But when you look, for example, at animal product, as soon as the animal dies, the rotting process starts immediately. And when you look at whole food, they've got vital energy. And by eating whole food, you can attain optimal health. So to answer to your question, I ask my client to eat whole food, so fruit, vegetables, legumes, grain, nuts, and seeds. But if they want, they can have processed food in small quantity, and it should be a treat. But it's whole food that I ask my client to have.
Yeah. Obviously, not everyone turning to a plant-based diet needs to lose weight or wants to lose weight. But for those that do want to, what tips would you offer them?
Yeah, the first tip that I can offer them is eating plenty of fruit and vegetables. And like I've just told you, a lot of vegans, they eat lots of processed food. But I ask people to eat plenty of fruit and vegetables because they are low in calorie and fat. And they've got lots of fibers, which will make you full quickly, and you will not tend to eat much. And I ask people as well to do intermittent fasting, because what I recognize is that 80% of our energy are spent digesting food. And when you keep digesting food, you will not be able to cleanse and heal, because the cleansing and the healing of our system can only be done when we're not digesting food. It's like, for example, if you take your car to the garage, you can't drive it at the same time. So when we are digesting food, the heal and cleansing of our system cannot be done. I ask people as well to get more active, because I recognize that being active and losing weight is very important. And what I ask people, they can only do walking, for example, just walking, biking, light jogging, because the mistake that most people make is that when they go to the gym, they will start working very hard, they will be sweating, and they will only stop when they're exhausted. And this is not good for the system. What you need is just movement, because the movement will facilitate the delivery of nutrients and facilitate the removal of toxins. Yeah. And I ask people as well to drink plenty of water, because in the drinks like alcohol and coffee, they've got a diuretic effect, which will make you pee a lot. And when you do that, your body will try to cling to water, and this will make you become big. I ask my client as well to cook with good fat, and I ask them to use coconut oil or organic extra virgin olive oil, because when you choose the wrong fat, basically it will make you gain weight. Yeah, I ask people as well to cook themselves. In that sense, they will be able to control the quality and the quantity of the ingredient they use. And finally, I ask them to not drink sugary drinks and juice drinks, because they've got too much calories, and this is not good for weight loss.
Yeah, some brilliant tips there. With the intermittent fasting, how do you recommend that works?
Yeah, so in general, what I ask people is to eat 3 times a day and to avoid having a snack in between. This is at the start of the program, but at the end of the program, what I tend to ask them is to do things a little bit like me. For me, what I do, I only eat twice a day. I eat at 12 and at 7 p.m. And in between, I don't eat nothing. Okay. Just if I can just have water or maybe some homemade juice. But I just eat at those 2 times. In between, I don't eat nothing. But other people, they try to do 8-16. So for 16 hours, they tend not to eat, and they eat in a window of 8 hours. But for me, personally, I don't think that it's effective. I just tend to eat just twice a day and nothing in between. That's the intermittent fasting that I would like to promote to people. Because people think that they get lots of energy by eating, while it's the opposite. The more you eat, the worse it is. Because like I've said, your body can only heal and cleanse when you're not digesting food.
if you do want a treat from time to time, what do you go for?
Usually I will get some vegan chocolate or some vegan ice cream. Yeah, that's the treat that, I like this thing.
Finally, tell us about your book, The Plant-Based Nutrition.
Yeah, it's available on Amazon. And so basically in the book, I'm trying to, first of all, to show people the diet designed for the human mechanism. And to do that, I show the difference between herbivores and carnivores, because human beings, basically, they are herbivores. And there are so many differences between us and the carnivores. When you look, for example, in the mouth region, or you look at the digestive tract, you will see that carnivores, they've got short intestines, and human beings and herbivores have got very long intestine. And even when we look at gorillas, we share 99% of the same DNA. But what do gorillas eat? They eat fruit, vegetables, and tender roots. They do not eat meat.
Yeah.
And I'll show as well people in the book why animal product, dairy product, and processed food are really detrimental for the human mechanism. And in the book as well, I share my experience, how I've lost weight. Speak about as well how the medical system deals with the disease. And at the end, I give people the steps that they can follow to have a disease-free life. So basically, the book answer to lots of people's worries. In the book, you will learn how to lose weight eating a plant-based nutrition. You will discover why we become ill and what to do to live a disease-free life, basically.
That sounds great. I'll have to grab a copy of that. What? Yeah. Just another quick point. So how has your family and friends reacted to this? Have they kind of got on board with it, or are they do they think you're a bit crazy?
Yeah, they think that I was a bit crazy. People don't understand what I'm doing that. And I remember even when I was losing weight, people were telling me, some people even made comment that I was sick, I was ill. Even people, because they even said that I was suffering from, I was HIV positive, and I had a really bad comment. And if you look in my family, there's only, apart my wife and my kids, there's only my brother who has accepted to follow this way of eating. All my mom and dad, my sisters, my cousins, no one wanted to hear about these things.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. And in my friends as well, they just see that I'm a little bit weird, and yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do they kind of see the benefits of a plant-based diet in terms of like the environment and things like that?
Yes, they can understand that. They can understand, even, for example, this was at the beginning when people were making fun of me. But now that they've seen the transformation, they can see that I've got lots of energy. I don't get sick anymore. So now they started to recognize that the benefit of all these things, even on an environmental way. But the problem with them is that they are, I would say, they are addicted to the meat and all that, and they just don't want to stop that.
Yeah,
they don't want to stop. Yeah, they say that it's difficult, but some people they start to make a little bit of a change. Maybe they reduce the meat intake, or some of them have decided not to eat meat anymore. They are just eating fish. So there are some changes that they are trying to make.
Yeah. Well, you say you're not a vegan activist, but I think the best activism, in my opinion, is, just obviously you're a shining example to everyone of what amazing changes a plant-based diet can do. And, obviously you're having that impact on people without having to sort of ram it down their throats, as it were.
So when I was talking about being a vegan activist, in my mind, it was maybe you go for rallies, you go in the street, stuff like that. But if in the sense that I'm trying to push this way of seeing things where you don't have to kill animals, by eating plant-based, you will have a good health. Yes, in that sense, I can say I'm a vegan activist, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're a true inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing all your wealth of knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Simply Vegan podcast. We have a new episode out every Tuesday morning, UK time. So we'll see you next week.